Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Todd Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this October 29th, 2022. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated. Also brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. Here we are about ready to leave October, go into November. Can you believe it? We're knocking on winter's door. And speaking of that, we are going to see some wintry weather here developing later in this forecast period, later in the week and towards the weekend. This is what we're watching. Over the next week, generally speaking, it's going to be pretty quiet in the western United States, probably through Tuesday. Not a lot going on. Now, for the West Coast, for you folks in California, Nevada, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, you're going to start to see some rain and snow move into those areas probably in that late Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, as we're going to see a large weather system come out of the Pacific and into those West Coast areas, and then a large part of the storm is going to slide into the Great Basin by late next week. So that could spread some rain and snow into some central southern areas of California, snow in the Sierra Nevada, and into Nevada and Utah. Then a potential front range event of rain and snow could be developing by next weekend. That would be Colorado, Wyoming, maybe Montana, parts of northern New Mexico, as that Great Basin low moves out and spins up across the high plains. So while in the short term, there's not a lot going on, middle to the end of next week and next weekend, heads up the livestock interest. We've got some weather that we'll be contending with as things are going to get more active as we head towards the month of November. In the last week, it's been pretty active. A lot of this came last weekend. This heavier precipitation here into the mountains of the Intermountain West, the Pacific Northwest, some good moisture in the northern plains, heavy precipitation in parts of the southeast and parts of the Corn Belt and the south central areas of the United States. So we have seen a return of precipitation despite this break that we've got going on right now. And there you can see the precipitation anomaly. Good news for Montana and Idaho there into Washington and Oregon, picking up some needed precipitation. The mountains of Utah and Colorado and the western mountains of Wyoming really picking up some good snow. Montana as well, and you'll see that reflected in the snowpack figures. You can see the first real widespread snow over the last couple of weeks has finally occurred. Look at all that blue. See that blue? That means a snowpack that is more than 150% of average. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Anytime you see a snowpack figure early in the snowpack season and late in the snowpack season, it can be skewed by large storms as you're just starting to build the snowpack now. The central Rockies, snowpack conditions there are not as good, but you can see how well the Pacific Northwest, the mountains of Montana and Idaho have been. Look at Utah. Look at the mountains of Colorado, even northern New Mexico. We're likely going to see these numbers stay the same or go up a little bit from what we're seeing over the next week or two. As we get started in the forecast period, we're going to have generally a west to east flow of jet stream winds across the lower 48 states. That tends to lend to what we call a seasonably mild pattern, where you tend to get temperatures close to the 30-year averages when you see a west to east flow like this. This is also going to keep precipitation in the west fairly low. The exception will be onshore flow up here, bringing some rain and snow. We've got this system in the southern plains headed towards the Corn Belt that's going to bring a little bit of rain, but the rest of the west will be fairly quiet. But going out farther, this is that larger storm that we were talking about coming in towards the middle to the end of the week. We could see California and the Great Basin states seeing some rain and snow and colder weather moving in, while high pressure and warmer conditions develop over the eastern United States. And by next Saturday, we may end up, this is where that potential for a front range storm could be developing as that Great Basin low kicks on out. So that could impact parts of the central and northern Rockies with some winter-like weather conditions by next weekend. So the weather starts quietly, but it ends in a flurry. And over the next 7 days, you can see there's a fair amount of precipitation being forecasted all across the west, and even in areas that haven't really seen much lately. Snowfall could be impressive as well if everything comes together. So the seasons are indeed changing. We're getting deeper and deeper into that late fall pattern, and we're starting to see early signs of winter. Our next update will be the 5th. Have a great week ahead.